everyone wants to be selected on merit, not as a quota player, not as a target player, not as any of those.
I'd like to think we're getting better at managing our quota systems work, but I still think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
We found that, well, 2 years ago, beginning of the season, all of a sudden players were playing, young players were playing that were probably not ready to play.
I think sometimes we almost lower the standards just a little bit because we feel it's a black African player and we've got to nurture him along and almost, look, if you average just 20 with a bat, it's okay. It's actually not okay.
But then again, opportunities get given. You get players who play for the franchise. They don't particularly well. They get dropped again into the semi-pro, but they shoot lights out. They take wickets. They score runs. It's just, I mean, if they had not been given an opportunity to play at another level, it probably wouldn't have happened.
The perception sometimes is that targets has led to a decline in the competition standard, and that is not shown by the statistics.
A lot of players that come through beautifully, I always use Umpiramela, who's, was brought into the Cobra setup and had an amazing season. Next thing he's playing for South Africa A, and that's purely on merit. Had it not been a target, he probably wouldn't have played.
Immediately when you're a black or a black African player, you are deemed a quota or a target player, which is unfair.
In this program, we take these kids play against the Model C schools, and then you'll get those parents asking, where does he come from? Is he good enough? And then once the kids start playing good shots and now they will say, wow, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you get given an opportunity to play, and then let's just show people, not because of your color or whatever, but because you deserve to be there.
And if you have the opportunity and the quality of opportunity, you can become a Protea player and a world-class player. I mean, again, Kagiso Rabada is a great example. Makai Ntini is a great example.
So there has to be the acknowledgement of, I've got to ensure that this quality of opportunity that I've created for this player, I've got to give him every tool, I've got to give him every opportunity. And I've also got to ensure that he's the right player.
What we want to do is ensure we retain every player that has the ability to play for South Africa.
We are going to lose one or two players to county cricket, to Colpacks, because of the targets that we have. But it's a part and parcel of our life. We got to understand that the imbalances of the past cannot continue.
If you're good enough to play for South Africa, Cricket South Africa will do everything in its powers to retain you within the system.
We have got to genuinely be honest with ourselves and say to ourselves, have we created enough opportunity for players of colour?
We've done well in terms of bringing through players, and especially when it comes to black and black African players. But we can do a lot better.